Hello card fighters. Today I have for you my Dragonic Overlord The End deck. So a little backstory for this deck. It's not the most competitive deck, but I really like this deck, and this is the deck that I enjoy playing the most as of right now. This is before BT06, I believe. I'm just getting back into the game because, fun fact, I was not enjoying a lot of the standard overdress decks. I tried a handful of them, just wasn't really enjoying the game at the moment. But then I really started playing some more of the Dragonic Overlord here and kind of got back into it. So definitely expect some more deck profiles, some more videos in the future. But thankfully, this deck did get me back into it, and so I'd love to cover it for you guys. So we start out here with the Lizard Runner Undu as the starter. Then we have the Embodiment of Armor Bar, and then the Dragon Knight Nehalem, and the Dragonic Overlord as the ride line here. A standard starter, and then Bar, when he is ridden on by Nehalem, he counterblasts 1, and you search your deck for a grade 1 card and reveal it to your opponent and add it to your hand. Other than that, that's really the main thing you need to know. You'll go and get 2 different cards with this card. So, and I'll kind of, most of the time it'll be a PG, a perfect guard, but not always. And then Nehalem here, he's actually really good. When he's ridden on by Dragonic Overlord, he actually calls himself to rearguard, and he can Soul Blast 1 and have the Overlord and himself gain +5 for the turn. So that's a once per turn effect. And then Dragonic Overlord himself, who's actually really good, really kind of overpowered in my opinion. To some extent. He's always overpowered because he's Dragonic Overlord. But during your turn, the battle this unit attacked a rear guard, your opponent cannot call cards from their hand to guard. So whenever you attack with him into one of their rear guards, they cannot guard with cards from their hand, or call cards from their hand to guard. So yeah, when this unit attack hits, you can counterblast 1 and discard a card from your hand to stand this unit, and it loses drive check -1, or it gets drive check -1. So it loses one of its drive checks, which is not the biggest deal in the world when you think about it, because you're still getting 3 checks and 2 attacks with just your Vanguard alone. So that's actually really good, in my opinion. Then moving on, we run one more of the Dragonic Overlord. So we do run 2 copies of Dragonic Overlord, which I know is not the most popular opinion, but you'll kind of see why as well, because you want that early pressure in some decks, and some decks you don't really mind letting loose a little bit and waiting till turn 4. But usually you want that early pressure if it's kind of a fast-paced deck that you're going against. So that's why we run the 1 extra copy. And then we run 4 of Dragonic Overlord The End, which is honestly the main card of the deck, but you don't always need him. A lot of times it's actually beneficial to just ride and Persona ride and get that plus off of that. But Dragonic Overlord The End is really good. I will say that Dragonic Overlord The End will be a lot better if there was a card in like rear guard or something that says, you know, put a card from rear guard into the soul in Dragon Empire. That would be very beneficial, and that would probably be a 4 of card in this deck, just because it would be easier to get Dragonic Overlord into the soul without having to wait and ride on top of him and then have to wait to get your Persona ride. So if there is a card like that, definitely let me know in the comments below, because I've been searching for one and I haven't found one as far as the standard right now. But if there is a card like that, definitely let me know so that I can go ahead and start playtesting that and give you guys an updated profile. But with that being said, Dragonic Overlord The End's ability is, during your turn, if you have a Dragonic Overlord if in your soul, this unit's drive cannot be decreased from card effects, and it gains plus 500 attack. And then it also says, once per turn, at the end of battle that this unit attacked, counterblast 1 and discard 2 cards from your hand to stand this unit. And it would get drive -1, but usually you're going to have Dragonic Overlord in your soul, so you won't minus any of your drives. So you still get 4 drive checks from his attacks. And then the last grade 3 that we run, I'm testing out 3 copies of Tri-Bash. It's just a really good aggressive kind of build, in my opinion. I really love Tri-Bash because you can play him on rear guard, you can get your attacks off, and his effect can still go through. It doesn't require you to not attack with him or anything like that. It's just a really nice effect that you can do. You can attack with him, he can be a really nice rear guard, and then when your Vanguard attacks, you can just whoop, pop him into soul to give your Vanguard another crit. So crits are always scary, and especially with the trigger ratio that I kind of run in this deck, this is very, very beneficial in my opinion. But like I said, I am playtesting this a little bit at 3, so it might go up, might go down, we'll see. And then starting off with our grade 2s, I run 3 Perforate Burner Dragon. You can definitely run 4 if you'd like to. I just run 3 because I like a nice, the nice kind of number set we've got going on with our grade 2s, which you'll see in a moment. But basically what he says is when it's the attack phase, when you're attacking, if you would discard this card from your hand, it goes into the soul, and you can give one of your cards plus 500 attack. So very good, very beneficial, especially with this build, with being Dragonic Overlord, who does exactly that. And then I run 3 more copies of Dragon Knight Nahalem, just because he's honestly our best, or our second best rear guard. So that's why I run 3 of him instead of 4 Perforate, just because usually your opponent's going to try to target your Burning Horns, which are coming up, which is the best grade 2. And so you want something that can take its place fairly decently, which would be Nahalem as being the second best, in my opinion, that you could call to rear guard for your other attacks. And then, as I said, your best grade 2 is Burning Horn Dragon. And Burning Horn Dragon says, when this unit is placed on rear guard, you can counterblast 1 and look at the top 7 cards of your deck, reveal up to 1 card with Overlord in its card name, and put it into your hand, and shuffle your deck. If you did not reveal a card, countercharge 1. So basically, you counterblast 1, go get a +1 into your hand, or I guess technically he's not a +1 since you're just replacing him. But you go get an Overlord, hopefully, and if you don't, then you pay nothing for it, basically, because it countercharges the counterblast you paid to try to do it, which is amazing, actually. More cards should probably do something, some similar sense of that. And then it says, when your Vanguard with Overlord in its card name attacks, this unit gets plus 5,000, sorry, 5,000 attack. So every time your Overlord Vanguard attacks, boom, +5, boom, +5. Very good. So this is a focus of your opponents whenever you have them on the field. So definitely keep that in mind. And again, is why we run 3 of the Nahalem as well, because it's the second best option behind this guy. And then moving on to our grade 1s. I feel like I probably have a strange setup when it comes to grade 1s, but I'm a big fan of it. I like it. It seems pretty consistent and does what it's meant to do. So we start off with our 1 Dragon Monk Gojo. And basically what he says is, when the Vanguard attack that this unit boosted hits, you can retire this unit to countercharge 1. So that's basically just your countercharger for the deck. Fairly simple. I don't remember if I just said if he has to retire or not, but when your Vanguard hits, he retires himself, and then you can countercharge 1. So just 1 of him. You can run more if you'd like to. There's definitely some play in the grade 1s, not a lot, but a little. So you can definitely run, I would say 2 of him, probably maybe 3 if you're lucky. but I would say probably no more than that. He's just a countercharger. Countercharging isn't completely necessary, because usually games don't last super long, and you only use a few of your counterblasts within a game or two. So, but then we run 3 of Stealth Dragon. Oh my goodness, what is this card's name? Tagachirashi. Man, what a name. But yes, so we run 3 of the Stealth Dragon here. Basically, he's very similar to the Grade 2, the Perforate Dragon, because when he's discarded from hand, he goes into the soul, but his effect is anytime, not just during the battle phase. So if you discard him to ride from your ride deck, boom, he goes into your soul. Anytime he would be discarded from your hand, I believe via effect, or does it even say? No, just discarded from your hand during your turn. So anytime he would be discarded from your hand during your turn whatsoever, he goes into the soul. So that's very good and can feed a couple of your effects. So, all right, and then probably my favorite of the grade 1s is Stealth Dragon Tinsha Stead. And basically what he does is when this unit when the unit boosted hits, so whenever this unit's boosted attack hits, counterblast 1 and retire this unit, choose one of your vanguards and search your deck for up to 1 card with the same name as that card. Reveal it and put it into your hand and shuffle your deck. So basically his entire purpose is to sacrifice himself to go get you another copy of either your original Overlord or one of your The Ends. And so he's going to funnel through your deck, get those cards for you, and make sure that you hit your triggers on your restands and everything like that as well, along with the Persona Ride, which is amazing and really great. So really think he's crucial to the deck at the moment, in my opinion. I could be completely wrong, and maybe there's better options, but in my opinion, as I said, I think he's pretty crucial as far as cards. As far as the grade 1s, he's pretty crucial, probably the most crucial in my opinion. Other than, of course, the staple grade, 4 copies of the Perfect Guard. So basically that's all it is. This is the quote-unquote good Perfect Guard, where if you have less than a couple cards in your hand, then you don't pay anything, but then if you have more than that, then you'll still do the discard for the Perfect Guard. And then onto the triggers. The triggers, as far as this particular trigger, I'm not sold on it, so definitely don't quote me on this one. But as of right now, I'm running 2 Cure Flare and 2 Stealth Fiend. I don't get a lot of play out of this one. I get a little bit of play out of this one. I don't get a whole lot of play out of either of them as far as their effects, which their effects are: when this unit is placed on Guardian Circle, if your opponent's attacking unit has attacked 2 or more times this turn, this unit gets plus 15 shield until end of turn, which I see that more often than this, definitely. So I'm highly thinking about taking this out, but it is very situational. So it depends on what you think you're gonna see, or what you feel like you're gonna encounter in a tournament. So that's why I still kind of have this in here, but more than likely you'll probably just take this out for either more copies of this or just the regular heal trigger probably. But this one's effect is, when this unit is placed on Guardian Circle, if the attacking unit's critical is 2 or more, or 2 or greater it says, and its critical is increased by a non-trigger effect ability, or its original crit is 2 or greater, this unit gets plus 15 shield. So, and I believe I don't know if I said plus 15 shield on this either, but basically they're 25 shields if their effect goes off, otherwise they're 10 shields. But yeah, I don't get a whole lot of play out of this because you don't see that very often. Usually it's just triggers and things like that. There are some that do give themselves triggers or criticals. I'm sorry. I believe Bruce might, if I recall correctly, things like that. But if you don't think you're going to run into a lot of boss monsters like that, definitely swap it out for either more of this, which is also very good for Bruce. You still get its effect off for Bruce. And then, so either more of this or just the regular heal triggers. So I don't see a whole lot of play. You're probably safer just taking this out, honestly. That's my controversial topic as far as that. And then we run 4 of the Conduct Spark Dragon. And we run 2 of the Blaze Maiden. So 6 critical total. I know that's a little bit different than most people as well. I think most people try to play 8. But I'm a little bit more comfortable playing 6 because it leaves more room for the other triggers here. Which would be, I run 3 of the Flare Veil and 2 of the regular Draw PG. So the regular one is of course just the regular Draw PG. You can definitely run a 4th one of this and just 1 of these. I basically run, this just makes me more comfortable as far as OCD purposes. But definitely run another one of these if you have one. Just because its effect is really nice. And it is, if your opponent's Vanguard is grade 3 or greater, this unit gets +5 shield. So it's 10 shield instead of a 5 shield. So that's very nice and very helpful as well. But yeah, so we run 5 draw triggers and 6 crit triggers. And the last card of the deck is of course the over trigger for Dragon Empire. Which it says you can give something 100 million power and you can restand one of your units. So very good, especially with Dragonic Overlord. Getting this is absolutely amazing. You get this and get a crit, or get this with a Tribash, and it's just insane. It's insanity. It truly is. It's absolutely amazing, and I highly recommend it. And honestly, most games you will see this more often than not, with how often you're running through your triggers. Yeah, like I don't think there's been a single game where I haven't seen this in a drive check. There might be one, but I just can't remember it off the top of my head. But almost every game that I play this deck with, you hit this thing on a drive trigger, and it's absolutely amazing every time. So, but yeah. Alright, so that's going to do it for my Dragonic Overlord the End deck. Let me know what you guys think down below. Let me know what you guys would change. Let me know how you've had, or how you've fared with this deck yourself. What do you think about them, how they brought the main kind of 3 decks back with the Majesty Lord Blaster and the Phantom Blaster dragons as well. How do you guys feel about those? Definitely let me know in the comments down below, and I will see you guys in the next video. Peace.
I can feel the power, I can feel the power. Feel the power. Yeah, money that is time and hour. Yeah, well, I better activate the power. I'ma activate it, gotta make it, gotta chase it. I don't care what they be saying, I'ma do it now. And I've been really safe and I ain't giving up and I ain't giving in. Do it now for the dividends, I'll be on the path. I just gotta get it, cause I got my mind on some bigger things. So man, I ain't gonna give in now, I just gotta live this now. I be gonna be when I'ma kill this stuff real quick. I'ma go take it to town, cause I gotta be that king in the ring when I'm knocking it out. When I'm back with the real, cause I am just up on the journey. You just know that I'm just going insane.